Going live. All right, we are live. We are live. Hey, everybody. Hobby Expo yet? Very much so, Joey. I thought we talked about it.
Yeah, everybody's going. If you're not going, you're missing out, dude.
Yeah, so let me get my calendar up. Welcome back to Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is RC Drift Talk is what we do. We got Aaron on the show tonight with RC Drift Network. We've got a lot of cool things, a lot
We
of
got an episode tonight.
fire things that we're going to be talking about.
Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, man. You've got the connection to RC Drift IO, so we can talk about that. We can talk about teams like you wanted to and all of the other stuff. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. I was kind of worried about chat. Like, it was really quiet until kind of just now. It was.
We should have some Texas guys popping in. It's 9, so it's a little bit, it's past our old man bedtimes. Yeah.
Man bedtimes. Well, okay. Actually, speaking of that, I do have to get up at like 4 tomorrow to work.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We're on the timeline tonight.
No, we'll see. We'll see. And then so Model Hobby Expo, Northwest Model Hobby Expo. That is April 10th, 11th, and 12th. If you don't know what it is literally the largest nerd gathering in the Northwest for RC or anything models. So trains, planes, automobiles, drift cars, excavation equipment, battle bots. Honestly, it's super cool. If you're in the area, go check it out. You'll see a lot of the Washington crowd there because it is in their home territory, literally. There's a nice little hotel there, all that fun stuff. Yo, Miko, what's up? Then as far as that goes, we are getting into the final round of the Oregon, or the PDX, Drift PDX Winter Series. The finals is February 21st. It's a weird point spread, is what that competition is. I'll tell you what.
I think Vitaly will have a pretty good lead at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you guys run that? Is that like a just like kind of SDC style? It's just show up, qualify, and battle?
Freestyle. It's 2-lap qualifying back to back real quick. There's only Adam, like 12, 16 people?
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's a decent turnout. It's a fun turnout is what it is.
Yeah. And the whole series was just designed to get more people at our track more comfortable with comping without having to deal with battling me
Kudos
or Jake,
to you guys.
or us, basically, because we're sweaty nerds. And we want to get people more seat time in the comp setting. So it's double elimination. So obviously you can lose and still be in the comp. And there's not really a specific rule set. We kind of set out what we're looking for in the drivers' meetings and then just go off of that.
They got me driving again, which is kind of annoying. I don't hate that. As much as I say that I hate it, I like it is fun. It genuinely is fun. It's just
you like it, and you came back from not having comped in how many years, and you won the first round.
Yeah, but that was the first one, and then everyone got better. That's what happened.
Dude, you're telling me. I went to Tandem Tuesday this week. Oh my god! Like back in the day, Tandem Tuesday was like the first 2-3 battles. It's just like you don't even have to touch the zone, just don't crash. And then the final would be like a little heated. Now it's like every single battle, and it's double elimination. You have to drive your butt off, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the other day it was Judd, Vitaly, and you, right?
Mm-hmm.
On podium.
Yeah. I beat Jake, and then Jake ended up going against Judd in his second, his loser bracket, and then Vitaly's doing really good. But literally everyone there was like really good. It was gnarly.
Well, it's cool to watch those guys too that came out and at the beginning, and like you said, you were just kind of like, oh, don't crash, or they, they could not crash and win a battle. And now they're like really battling. Same thing in San Antonio with our guys, is like we went through a phase where it was a little rough, everybody was kind of just bouncing around. It was bumper cars, out there, but we actually went to a really narrow, like some of our lanes are probably right at like 20 inches wide in some spots.
Yeah.
But we're like a medium-sized track. I wouldn't call it a really small track, but it's definitely not a large track. So I was looking at what they were doing out in Florida a lot, and a lot of those tracks, they look so scale and they look amazing, and then they zoom out and you're like, wow, that's not a very big space that they're working with. And maybe that's why they have so much more scale going on there. But
yeah,
even their driving style, you can see it in the way that they drive together. There's a little bit faster, less angled pace. It reminds me, there's more driving and drifting happening. So, man, these guys have really improved. Like the first week or two, it was kind of groans and mumbles, and everybody's like, I don't know. And, we still bounce off the wall. It's like 50-50 going into our big sweeper if we're going to make it through it or not. But I keep telling everybody, I'm like, when you go to an easier or a wider layout, you guys are just going to you're going to kill it. It's going to feel like you've got lanes for days.
Like a freeway. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know how to aim for it.
When we go back and look at our old pictures of the track too, it's like same thing, like super wide 3-4 foot lanes. The zones are 2 feet, like your whole car fits in the zone and then some.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's tight. The zones are 6 inches deep and everybody's hitting all the zones. Everybody's line. I literally every battle I was like, I have to just drive as good as I can, and we'll see what happens. It's crazy. It's super rewarding too.
It goes to that consistency. We've talked about RC Drift. I was on the IO podcast the other day. It's going to be dropping here soon. We were talking about that, the consistency, like giving something for people to come to every week, keep practicing, have something to aim for. That I think it really helps. And I think people, they want to drive up, like they want to drive to a higher level. They don't want to settle for like, okay, well, I'm figuring out how to get around the track now. Like, I think the whole progression of this hobby is figure out how to get around the track, figure out how to link it. And then it's like, I want to start catching doors with people. I want to start, progressing. I want to start seeing that progress. So I think that's where they really see it is, the little events. We do something called random tandem, where we'll just show up. Everybody, we use the RC Drift IO tournament software, and I can put everybody's name in there. I just hit the little shuffle button on there, and it'll give everybody a qualifying score, seed them out, and then boom, we just go from there. We've been doing single elimination, which I like double elimination better. We'll probably go, move to that because it just gives people more.
If you have less than 16 people, it's so much better. Once you start getting more than that, it's so many battles. But yeah, it's just better. But like you get another chance.
Yeah, I like it. I think the guys like it. Now we've gotten to where it's like when I don't do battles or I don't do something on Wednesday, it's like one of the first things when I get there, people are like, are we doing battles today? Are we doing random tandems or drift wars? So I know that it works. I know that they like it because they're looking forward to it. So
sorry, the fist pump it's official that Larry Fitzgerald is a Hall of Fame member. Just had to throw that in there. Sorry.
It's in the background.
Yeah.
Sure.
Much deserved for that guy.
Absolutely.
But man, that RC Drift IO app. So last year I started judging at the hobby shop for SDC, and after the first round, I think I posted the results or something, and Josh from over there hit me up. I don't want to say his last name. It's Parrot or Pere. I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Mess it up, but
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I did anyways, right? He hit me up and he was like, hey, I see you're using Challenge or whatever. We have this, basically boutique software that we've built that is specific for RC drifting. Like, I can make edits to it. I can change it. Like, I'd really love for you guys to try it and let me know what you think. So I got on there, started, messing around with it. And honestly, it is almost like it's like he read my mind when I started RC drifting, because I was like, man, we need something where we can like have our profiles and talk about our cars, and basically a RC drift network. That was the whole thing, right? RC drift network. I was like, we need, and so I started looking at it and I was like, man, he's created it. Like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. He's already light years ahead of me. I mean, I don't know if I assume he's a web developer in his full-time job, because that app is like, it's not Shopify, it's not GoDaddy, it's full custom built out thing. So
I really want to talk to that guy, because I've mentioned before, but I was like literally in the planning stages of something very similar, and then I saw that and I was like, well, okay, cool, all right,
and so I looked at it. I was like, well, if they've got to jump on that, then the next best thing that is, I felt like, align myself and start helping them. Like, how can we make it even better? So
that's that's the way that they'll move forward, is if we all start using it. I'm gonna definitely check it out. Maybe we'll even think about using it for our final round of our winter series. But
well, and the cool thing, the thing that I really love about the app is Josh has been really responsive. I mean, he's 6 hours ahead of me, and I'll message him at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and he's like, yeah, mate, give me 5 minutes, give me 10 minutes and I'll fix it, and he'll go in there and like, he's like, all right, refresh it, and boom, it's done, so any kind of, technical issues I've had, like, I just let him know, and, within a day or two, like, he's on it. I kind of explained to him when we were doing Drift Wars, and it was kind of like Street Outlaws. We were battling like head to head, heads up. He created a whole system, like a tournament style, just for that, where we could do one-off battles. And it's been really helpful to have it there. And then all the other features, just as it's growing, like, he just keeps adding more stuff into it. So, but I mean, personally, as a competitor too, the thing for me is keeping track of your stats. It's a lifetime. It's once you log in, anything that gets done, any tournaments or whatever that you participate that's done through there, it's going to keep track of that. It's going to show your win losses, who you went up against. He's got a ELO system, so it's it's based on driver, the strength of opponent. You know what I mean? So
we kind of talked about that last week, actually, that the fact that it does have a rating system. And I brought up the point that it was like, it could be difficult in the US for the ELO system to be super accurate, just because we're so divided. Like, we're not often driving against each other. So like, if you and I go end up battling it at Worlds, and whatever happens, that's going to skew, even though, maybe I hit the wall, right? So
I think, because I've struggled with it too, and kind of going back and forth on that, and people asking the same thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think pressure is one thing, right? When it comes to that, like, if me and you are going up at finals or something, I think that there needs to be a difficulty modifier. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of pressure in a regional SDC round versus when you go to finals is obviously way different, So winning there should, in my opinion, be worth more. I think that the drivers that are there, I think either way, like, the strength, the only thing it's like, is the strength of driver as good in my area? Like, is my driver rating really strong because we don't have as developed of a community here?
That's my thing, is it's just tricky to represent that accurately, because most of the year we're all very isolated from each other, and we only drive together at one event, and it just could be weird to like try to put a handle on that accurately. Like, if you look at, I follow disc golf. There's like one guy in like Southeast Asia that's the highest rated disc golf player in the world. Do a kickflip. Yeah, you've been summoned like minutes ago. So there's one guy.
I just saw it.
There's one guy that's the highest rated disc golf player in the world. He's never played in any professional. Well, I'm sure he has, but any of the main series events, right? And he's rated higher than like the goats of the whole sport. And it's like, what's going on there? It's like, you know what I mean? Obviously, that guy's not the best disc golfer in the world. because he's never even
So I think-
competed at Worlds.
I think what I'm excited about is it's the first step in creating the organization.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not trying to.
You know what I mean?
I just wanted to bring up the point. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
it's
for
good.
sure.
It's good. It's good.
I'm right there with you. I've had to have him even before the conversation. I was like, all right, let's talk about it again. Explain it to me, because I want to be able to talk about it and explain it. I think as we continue to grow as a hobby, though, and everybody, like, we're all, at least the top drivers that are going to be traveling around, like, you know, we're building up that experience, and the faster that we get on there and start building those, you know, backgrounds or found whatever records,
Yeah,
the sooner it becomes more accurate. You know,
it does make a lot of sense for everyone to get on that kind of thing as soon as possible, right? Because that's just your data. You want your data to go back as far as it can, right? It's just obvious.
when I think as far as you know, like, I think about it, trying to run a tournament or an event in one spot, right? And then I expand from that, and I'm like, I can't imagine how difficult it's got to be for someone like Steve and Joey to be trying to track 30 different tracks across the country on Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
You know, so that has to be a major headache.
That was my driver for thinking about this, was just seeing the chaos of the first time I went to Worlds 2 years ago, where it was just like nobody really knew what was going on at any given time. You know, schedules were very rough. You know, you didn't know how well you had done in qualifying. It was kind of, you had to go look at a TV somewhere. All of this stuff. Like, I wanted to have that be a better experience for both the drivers and the you know, organizers, because doing our own events, it was the same thing. Like, we had to figure out, like, okay, we're going to do qualifying. How are we going to do qualifying? How are we going to keep track of all these scores? How are we going to, you know, do all this tabulation and math to decide who has the best qualifying score? Like, we have our own little spreadsheets that we figured out, but that's complicated. And then if it breaks, then it takes us a while to figure out what the hell went wrong. And like, yeah, it'd be great.
Well, and I think we had at finals, there was a mishap that happened with Challenge where, you know, it shuffled weird and something happened, and it, you know, it caused a whole big thing. So, I mean, any program has the potential for errors to happen, you know,
especially when there's humans using it.
Right. But, you know, I think having something that is like, I struggled with Challenge. There was times where it was like, it's not made for that. It thinks I'm doing some kind of computer game, or, you know, so exactly. I like the biggest thing for me is the judging. So when you create a tournament, you have your judges, they get their profile registered. I select those people when I'm creating the tournament, and then they get a judging remote. So we can be, you know, around the track or whatever in our spots. We don't have to confer with each other. We don't really have to talk it over. And to me, that creates another level of fairness, because what I saw happening was we would come together, talk to each other, and we would influence each other's decisions.
Exactly.
One person would be way on the low end, and then they would feel like, oh, well, if you both weren't low, and why am I so low? I need to raise mine up a little bit. And I don't think that should be how it works.
Even in straight across judging a battle, like, it's real, like, it should not be a situation where you're coming together as a group. Everyone gives their, you know, what they saw, their opinion, and then we all try to agree on something. It should
agree on one thing.
It should be
both.
Each judge approaches it with what they saw, what they remember, and they look at the footage if they need to, and then they make their own decision. It shouldn't be influenced by you shouldn't be influenced to vote for someone because your friend voted for somebody. You know what I mean? So that's really
it
nice.
adds that extra layer of stress or pressure on it, really, as a judge, when you're like, man, I don't know if he's going to say this, then I'm just going to go ahead and go along with him.
Right.
You know, once we all had the judges remote, and it's cool because it has the overlays, like you can put it up on a projector and everything. You can do it on your live stream. Like, I could see you guys just going ham with it, because y'all have all the media and technical capabilities. Like, I can't figure any of that out. He's sent me the URL and everything to like put the overlay on the live stream, and I'm like, I can't figure it out. Streamlabs and OBS and everything just makes me mad. So that's why we don't do a whole lot of streaming at our CHQ, because I spend too much time messing with it and trying to switch cameras and stuff. But
well, once it's set up,
it's really
then
cool.
Yeah, once it's set up, then it's set up, and you don't really have to worry about it. But I do have, like, I am running out of hands for whenever I'm doing my stream, so it's like I need help.
Yeah.
But everyone's competing, so
Yeah. And you don't want to take that away from them either. You don't want to be like, hey, I know you're trying to do this or focus on it, but could you come over here and help me do this part? Even though everybody will. Like, I mean, I don't know how it is for y'all, but everybody, I come in and they're like, let me know, do you want me to help?
We
you need me to
definitely,
record?
like, if you watch our stream, like I hop on the mic all the time just to cover for when someone else is battling. We all do that, but it's still like, we already don't have, we have low turnout for the comp itself. We don't have 5 people to run, let alone judging and a stream. It's like, it's a pain. But at the same time, the stream, I feel the stream is very beneficial to all of us. People are watching that. People around the country are watching that stuff, and they're seeing our names and they're rooting for us. So it's a big deal.
It's pretty cool when we see like Netherland guys or just like someone completely random from the other side of the world is just there.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Mark's on. What's up, Mark?
Yeah, you guys will kill it with that app. I'm sure once y'all hop on there and take a look at it and everything,
I'm already
be like, okay.
I'm already pushing for that. We're gonna try to do that maybe in the next comp.
Well, why haven't we? Like,
I don't have a good reason for that, honestly.
Change is hard because challenge and just.
I've known that it existed. It just never really occurred to me to try it.
I mean, I know challenge. Judd is kind of funny with challenge, so.
Challenge
the first thing
is the Bible to Judd.
I had to have him do was make it to where I could add people. So that's one thing is as you add your drivers into the program, it's way easier if they will go on and register themselves. It takes like 3 minutes to just hit sign up, get their email. Otherwise, you can
challenge too.
So you can add them, just add a driver, and if they don't want to claim their profile, you don't ever have to do anything about it. If you add them and they want to claim it, then they can go on and still create a profile, and we just have to tell Josh to merge them, and he can just merge those two together. So we can still, if they're like, oh, I don't have time to go make it right now or whatever, you can at least get them added into your tournament and roll.
We need to get this guy on the podcast. Probably that'd be sick.
I tried. I told him, I was like, man, maybe we do one like a late night session where he can hop on early or something.
Yeah, that's always the issue with the UK folks.
Well, so it's 8-hour difference, right? So Josh, Aaron and I were talking earlier today, like 7 p.m. is 3 a.m. over there. Which I mean, one morning, I guess would be bad, but
yeah, that's what he said.
Like we're willing to do like us get up super early and
we can fudge it
on like a Saturday or something.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good ideas. I'm hoping to go over there. We're trying to do October for me to go over there and judge one of their majors. So I was trying to do that in April, but I swear that time moves too quick. By the time I realize, I'm like, it's already January, now it's February.
Yeah.
Like, it just clicks away.
And that's a busy time of the year too, because like we're just finishing up finals, and then you're gonna go over and do that, and then pretty much if you're involved with RCDC at any point, then you'll be right into there, or TDC.
Right over to
dude.
Yeah.
This year is not surprisingly, it's like every year I get into this hobby, it's way harder and harder to decide like where am I going to go and what am I going to do this year, because there's so many events. And
I know
it's just like
I really want to come up to y'all's guys.
Right?
It's, Drift to Death, right?
Yes, sir.
Tokyo Drift to Death.
But it won't hurt my feelings for anyone that doesn't, because I understand it. It's like there's so many events every month. It's like I can't fly somewhere every month and do an event. You know what I mean?
Well, my wife has a rule. I gotta take them like 90% of the time. I gotta take the family with me. So flying 5 of us anywhere is like.
The cool thing about our event is I feel like it's not very hard to convince people to come and visit the Portland area, and I say the area in the summer because the coast is really cool. So you can, go check out the beach, the Goonies house, whatever. Go on a ride up the Columbia, check out the waterfall. Like there's a lot of touristy stuff to do, so it's not hard to convince people to come check it out.
There's a lot of outdoorsy stuff to do. Like
Beaver, yes, we will be there. What's the dates, DJ? March
24th through the 6th, or no, 20th through the 24th.
Yeah, 20th through the 24th.
Yeah, 20th through the 24th.
We will be there. Yes, sir. Dang right.
Speaking of Tokyo Drift to Death, that is August 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Sure is.
Be there.
Yeah. So y'all
Aaron,
stay late, right? That's or
we
like all
open
day,
the
or how
track
does
on
that?
Friday, probably around 1 or 2, and we don't close the track until Sunday afternoon.
That's crazy.
And
Y'all are hardcore.
they're sleeping under tables, on tables. If you want to drive the whole time, you can. No one's gonna stop you. There's no showering. Yeah. No, last year we did end up sleeping, getting away for a little bit to sleep. Like Friday night, I went home, but people were there late. And then Saturday to Sunday, Judd and I slept at the track. So
Bring a
That's
cot.
it was
ridiculous.
literally like an
Sleeping
hour
bag.
between people driving and then other people coming back in the morning to drive.
That sounds pretty good. I mean, the Scale Science Matt Surrey in 24, we brought our RV up there and camped out like right outside in the church parking lot,
Yeah.
and
That'd be cool.
had the church pastor come over there and ask me why I was camped out in their parking lot.
No,
I was
oh
like,
no.
I was like, I broke down. It's snowing. I don't know. It really was though. We actually had to end up getting a hotel room because the freaking furnace went out in the RV and
Oh,
everything.
no.
It was a whole mess.
Freezing.
It was like a blizzard in the middle of April, like end of April. I was like, isn't the snow done here by now? What's up with this place? It was already 100 degrees in Texas.
Oh boy. So let me scroll through a little bit of our chat here. I know that you wanted
Be
to
right
talk
back.
about teams, Aaron. Like, how did you want to go about that? Like, what is a team? Who's
Well,
a team? How to be on a team?
Yeah.
The ethics of
Well,
a
I
team.
mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of the things I get asked a lot. How do I be a part of the team, or how do I get on a team, or will you help support my team? And I always kind of am just like, well, what is an RC drift team? What are the expectations? Like, I don't know, for other guys, like I've heard things like teams, I don't know. I mean, I get really conflicted because it's like at the end of the day, if me and you are on a team and we have to go up against each other, is one of us taking a fall for each other because we're on a team, or are the gloves off? Like that's kind of what I meant by what are the ethics, what are the expectations behind a team, and why does everybody want to immediately be on a team? Like, it seems like that's kind of the first goal for everybody in RC drift is like, learn how to drift, get on a team. So is there a benefit to being on a team? What do people who are on teams see as the benefit? Why did they want to be on a team? Kind of a question for chat, really.
Yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, some of the
Why
tightest
team?
the tightest teams that I've seen are just a group of guys hanging out and just having fun. Like that's all that I see. I don't see any like, oh, I need you to win, or I need you to like you're gonna lose to me during this round so I can move on, or favoritism or anything like that. That I don't see.
Yeah, there's not one team out there where I'm like, oh, that team is we're all gonna beat all those guys. It's not like that at all.
I guess I do see like Team PDX hazing every so often, but that's
I
kind of
think
built
that's
in.
yeah, that's a necessary. I mean,
I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with us getting hated on by everyone. It's fine by me.
No, hazing.
hazing
It's like self-hazing.
No, like hazing new members.
each other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's definitely a thing. I can't show it on stream, but you should see the nicknames for us for each other in the team chat, dude. It's
The group chat.
yeah.
Yeah.
We would be extremely canceled if that ever leaked.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's it too. To me, that's kind of what it is. And I tell people is like, man, a team is just like people that you vibe with. It's people that you share the information with. Like, to me, I'm always going to be an open book. And it's also too like how much people give back to like what you're doing. If somebody's willing to support and rep and like, kind of, I don't know, support your cause, then that goes a long way too, as opposed to just being like, hey, I want to be on the team so I can have a livery, I can have the stickers, and I can say I'm on a drift team and put it in my bio. Like, I think to me that's kind of what people have to think is like, what can I bring to a team? Like, and that might just be like calmness, like I'm somebody that's chill. I drive with everybody. Like, I'm easy to follow. I get along with everybody. I don't think it necessarily has to be like you're the best driver in the world or you're winning all the comps or anything like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it can't be wins because like only one person.
So
can
rare.
Win.
Yeah.
There's also different kinds of teams, right? So like, I'm a part of a couple teams, but obviously, like Team PDX is like the core group. That's just literally the people from our track that are the most involved in the track happening, that attend the most. That's pretty much the only requirement to be a member of Team PDX. And I know a couple people out there that are going to be a little bit salty about that explanation, but there's factors for everything. It's not really a skill thing for Team PDX. It's more like, how long have you been doing it?
It's not it's not even that for Team PDX. Like, you guys are really genuinely the core of Drift PDX at its very center. Like,
yeah, I mean, on Tuesday almost the entire team was there, and then like a few people that weren't on the team was there. That's all you need to know, right? Like, it's the people that are at the track all the time, helping when things need to get cleaned up, when we need to redo the track, when we need to paint the walls,
build tables,
all this stuff. Move tables around, build tables, all of this stuff.
When you hit up the group and you say, we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings, like, who wants to go grab some wings, or we're going out to, eat. Those are the guys to me that really stick when they're like, yeah, I'm down. Let's go do something,
Totally. And then, but there's also like different, like, I'm also a member of Team D Style. That's a little bit different than Team PDX. It's kind of I don't know. To me, it's just like a wider net, basically. But it's people that similar to, we don't have one track because we're spread out a little more. So it's not that there's one place we call home, but it's a similar group of people where we all have a lot of the same feelings and styles of driving and how we like to drive. And that's a different level, I would say. Like, being a member of even like Tech One, that's a different thing than Team PDX. That's like a national recognition kind of thing. And that's where you get into a little bit more of a skill based situation. Miko's in here, so he might not agree with me, but I think there is, at least for some of these teams, there is some level of skill required. And then there's like Team Rolling Garage. That's basically a sponsorship at that point. But your local teams, that's just the boys. I mean, who do we go to Worlds with? That's our team.
That's your team. Yeah. I agree.
%100% agreed.
Yeah.
Although Logan is 100% also the reason why D Styles has accepted other chassis.
Yep.
And I also think too, like, there is a level of like knowing each other in this too, right? Like, it's hard to break into a team like Tech One or something like that, if you've never left your local track. And I mean, I'm sure, and I don't, I don't know how Alfredo and those guys choose who's part of Tech One or not. Like, I've heard rumors you have to beat a Tech One person in the comp or this or that. Like, but I mean, I think that part of it again still goes back to like, are you homies with those people? Do you do you actively talk to them? Do you drive with them? Have you had experiences meeting them? Because if you just want to get on the team because they have a big name and there's a certain level of prestige with it, like, I think you're going to struggle to really find the in there. Like, you have to
agree with that, yeah. Like, there has to be some kind of connection other than being a good driver.
It might get you the attention. It might get you that initial look.
I think for that, for at least for D style, I would say, like, I think the way the team's set up now is basically wherever any current member ends up at a track, they're gonna have the ability to establish more members in that area. So it's more of a locale thing. But we're not just gonna have people from other tracks that we don't see, be on the team. Some teams are more like that. There's some teams that are just national, just looking for random people. But I feel like it's important to know the people that you're associating yourself with.
Definitely.
But I've talked about this before too. It's not about if you're asking how do I get on a team, it's not even you missed. That's not the right question.
Yeah, the team kind of comes to you.
I think that was with Dr. H when we were talking about that. Yeah. It's if you're looking for the team, then you're trying too hard.
Yeah, you're not on the team. If you're trying to be on the team, then you're literally just not on the team. I mean, I guess that's not true. I'm sure there's plenty of people at Drift PDX that would like to be on Team PDX, but if you have to ask, how do
I will say too, I do appreciate it when somebody is confident enough to let me know, hey, I want to be involved. How do I get involved in that? If you guys are a team, I want to be on it.
Yeah.
To me, fair. That shows a level of seriousness. Now, if it's hey, can I be on the team? I really want to be on the team.
Yeah.
There's ways to approach it. You can let people know you're interested.
That's a good distinction. It's asking to join a team or giving, at least give me a roadmap on how I can make this happen.
There's some people where it's you don't show any interest. You're not really putting it out there that you want to be on the team or something. Or, I mean, you're yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think waiting for people to just notice that you're a good driver, there's spotters or I don't think we're at that level yet where people are just walking around and they're oh, that guy, it's more you're driving with somebody and you're I really this guy's a vibe. I like driving with them. We get doors, and then you're helping each other off the track and you're hey,
so that's that's kind of the piece of advice that I was getting at when I'm saying if you have to ask, then you're already too late. There's no way to get on a team, but if you just be cool and make it so that I enjoy hanging out with you, it's you can't really tell someone that.
I'll say this much too. RCDN, I don't know what the perception is right in the community. I know it's grown and it's gotten attention and stuff, but I don't sell a product. There's no revenue for RCDN coming in at this point. Eventually I'd like to figure out how to monetize and do stuff. And, I'm working on stuff for that in 2026, but starting out on a team, especially if you're going to start a team, I think you have to go into it knowing this isn't a sponsorship. I'm not going into this thinking that my homie is going to buy me a body and buy me a livery sheet and buy me a jersey and buy me a shirt and all that. If you have somebody that's got money and that's the kind of this is their thing and they're throwing money into it and they want to do that, then I think you hit the jackpot, but I think if you really want it, you kind of have to go into it and know like, hey, whatever we do, I got my share. I got my part of it. Until this thing does blow up and become something that like maybe is monetized or supports itself, like we're all throwing in to make this a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're lucky if you even have someone on your team that's thinking about monetization, honestly. Like it's just not really part of it for
probably shouldn't, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it really ruins, it takes the fun out of a lot of things, and it's not really the purpose of what we're doing here at the end of the day.
That has been something that we've all wrestled with as we are fortunate enough to pick up sponsors here and there. It's been like, oh wait, this is slowly turning into
a job,
a responsibility
and
to do stuff.
Yeah.
But
when the self pressure, like, oh, I have to keep up, I have to keep posting because now I have people that are expecting me to be putting things out and helping them, and now I need to be responding when comments come in.
I have to kind of be customer service for this company,
right?
Even though I don't work. For them.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's another. You kind of made a good point there. Is like I think there's also teams that, I think there's a certain level of a team that is, even at the top levels, like now you are a salesman, you
Absolutely.
are a representation.
I mean, if you're any type of, if we're talking like chassis team, like Team Yokomo or Team Shibata, like,
right.
Yes, you are 100% the customer service agent at that point.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
But it's an honor also to be,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I talked about this a lot
that guy.
with Hector and Chris, one of our locals here. What's funny, like, and they both kind of taught me something and made me realize something. But at first, because I come from a relatively budget aspect, it might not look that way, but according to my background, but
I would
I'm
say
not trying to spend a bunch of money.
Humble, stubborn beginnings is what Logan is. Humble,
I wasn't
stubborn
trying
beginnings.
to spend a bunch of money. So, like, my initial pursuit in sponsorships was just having the ability to more easily get the parts that I wanted. And that's kind of how I thought about it. But then, having talked with Hector and my friend Chris, they both are not that way. They could buy, in terms of RC stuff, pretty much whatever they wanted, right? But it's not just a financial thing. It's a sign of progress. And that's Hector's own words. It's a sign of progress. So even if you're not someone that enjoys there's a lot of people that hate on pursuing sponsorships and stuff like that, but it's for some of us, it's just the way that we like to measure our progress.
My first sponsorship that I would call in RC Drift was my local track here in San Antonio, RCHQ. And that's been ongoing. And it basically stemmed from, I was there every day. I was talking to management, talking to the owner. They wanted to do a little drift team or something, but they didn't know, they weren't really involved with the drift stuff. And I saw an opportunity. It was like, there's a position, they need someone to bridge the gap between the community and ownership, because there was a lot of, messenger, like I'm telling the messenger, and then the messenger goes and tells the owner, and then the owner tells the employee, and then everybody's on a different page. So I, within like 2 months of going up to the track, my first month was free. The second month I probably went 20 times at $10 a day, and I was like, I can't do this. I got to figure something out. And I've always done social media. I did it for my photography business. I've done it for my plumbing business. I did it for a national plumbing franchise. So it was like, there's an opening here. They need help getting people to see their presence online, bringing people out. So, that was, to me, it was like, I'm going to approach the owner and say, hey, here's how you can help me. I need to not pay a track fee. If I'm going to be here 25 or 30 days out of the month, I can't pay $10 or $20 now. And at the time, they didn't have a membership. So it was like, every day, just, you know, coming in, change. I was like, I'm not going to be able to afford this hobby at that kind of price. So, you know, that was basically what we worked out, was like, you help me keep people from attacking me, like help me know what is happening, help me know what people are looking for, because he's an older guy, he does mini Z, they're great at mini Z, like RCHQ, they just held nationals. You know, they're a really awesome track, they host it well, they're really versed in it. And then with the drift stuff, that, you know, they just, when they got into it, they were like, we can give you a spot, we don't know anything about it, it's y'all's community, it's your area, like, have at it, you know. But it's grown to be a full-on community where they, you know, they want more people in the community, want the comps, they want the organization. So, you know, that's where I saw that opportunity, was like, hey, if I can help them organize it, you know, they have a membership now, it's $50 a month. That's basically, you know, that's our exchange. It's like, I help promote events, I help put stuff on, a little series and stuff, and I don't pay the track fee. And the whole point of that rant was finding something, you know, that you can provide, a service that you can provide for them. You know, because that's not to pat my own back, but I think that the series and, you know, having an online presence has really kept the momentum going, especially in those times where it really started to get slow. And it's like, okay, we need an event, we need the series to come back on and bring some people out. I don't know that we would really have a track in San Antonio if it weren't for that community coming together and sticking together. So that's, you know, I've been lucky to have them to provide a space to create a community, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my point is, if you're in a position like that and you have an owner that doesn't really know, you might have a grand opportunity to put yourself in a position where you're very beneficial, very helpful. I mean, that might be your first sponsorship, you know?
That's a very funny predicament that a lot of drifters find themselves in, is they're driving at a track that is most likely not owned by someone who wants to drift or is interested in drifting or has any drift cars. They are just trying to find the best way to maximize the return on their investment for the space that they're running every month.
Yep. Like originally at Northwest in Albany, that was like Lance, Alex, Jake, and their crew. And then I was also like,
Midnight Suns.
I came along. Yeah, Midnight Suns went and did that.
Team. That was just Midnight Suns, literally, like what we were talking about. That's just the boys that were down there throwing down for the track, like trying to help the track. Yeah, that's why that team exists.
I do want to mention, because someone said in the comments, oh, it was you that said it about contract customers.
No.
It did make me think of something, though. It's like with teams and all of these things, like I do still think it's important. You know, if you get picked up by a team like that, I think it's your responsibility to help your local community get better access to those things. Like when a Rev B driver comes into a community, that's the new connection for that track. Like, hopefully that's the point of it, is for it to make it easier for those people to support their local community, not to circumvent their local track. Like if I were to get picked up by Overdose, my first thing, you know, my first goal would be making sure that my local shop carries their product. That way I can help that shop, because I don't want to be always sending my local guys to another shop either.
It's kind of a running joke at our track, is the second someone's sponsored by a company, it's like a relief for everyone else, because now the second we see that brand, we just send them that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's an RDX. All right, Jake can help you out.
Man,
I know nothing.
I think
about
that's the hardest thing that hobby shops, in my opinion, face, is like it's a constantly changing market of things that are coming out, pre-orders, new stuff, you know, upgraded stuff.
Yeah,
being able to have it, know how much of something that people are going to want, getting it fast enough, because if you don't have it and the other person got it before you, they might cancel their order and order it from someone else. You know, like I love Jordan and Scale Science. I love the way that their shop is set up, the foundation that they're built off of, where it's like they were a community of like just a group of guys, just a group of friends that were like, we want to track. And they study, and it's like, we started in a basement, where we're all just, shoulder to shoulder, just enough room for us to drive. And it's just, they all took on a responsibility because they all wanted it. And then it's grown into a pro shop, and it's like, he listens to his customers and what they want. He brings in items as they're hot, but he's not overstocking himself. He's not carrying every RTR that hits the market and 4 or 5 of them because you want to make sure that new guy has a bunch of options to choose from. Like, no, they're a niche, focus driven. He knows his market. His customers come to him and they're loyal to him. Like, you see a lot of that throughout the country where people are like, hey, Scale Science, like I don't know. It's really cool to see what he's built in his community there.
Yeah.
That's, for me, it's like, if I tried to open a hobby shop, not a hobby shop, but an RC drift track, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I wouldn't carry anything. I would tell you guys to go somewhere else. Order it from Super G, order it from the hobby shop. Like, I don't want to be that guy that's constantly pulling my hair out and spending $10,000 on pre-orders to try to stock it so people can be like, yeah, but they don't have this, like, no, I'd rather focus on the space and the events and the people and the community, and, make it where it's like, you want to bring your buddy out and he wants to bring his buddy out, and those people become members and they bring their friends out, and it keeps growing for that reason. They keep coming back, because the second you start playing that, like, I got to keep all the parts for all the people, I don't know, unless you're just independently wealthy, I just see it as like it's a losing battle.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting landscape we're in the retail space with RC Drift, because there's obviously online has changed commerce tremendously, and there's 3 or 4 players in the game in terms of online, where it's really hard for a small shop to compete with that at all, because just overhead costs and pricing that they can't keep up with. So it's a really weird time. It's like all these and the funny part is, these 4, I'm not going to name anyone, but these major players, right, they know that they rely on all of our tracks having a bunch of people, right, because they need it to keep paying the bills on their crazy overhead. But at the same time, a lot of them do things that don't help that situation sometimes, and it's kind of, they're kind of working against themselves in some ways. All I can say is, like, please everyone, please just buy from your local track. I know it's going to be a little bit more money, but if you got to buy something, you might have to wait a little longer, but support your local track, because they need it a lot more, and they're going to order it from the same place you're ordering it from anyways, probably. So
just know that the price margins at your local hobby shop are nowhere close. Like, Judd is operating on, like, love of drift, like,
100%.
specifically.
Yeah, no, the Drift PDX is not a money making venture.
Yeah.
It stays afloat. We pay the pills.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think that's kind of the goal for most, is like, if you go into it, the hobby shop is one where it's like they've really, like, they came in hot and heavy. They carry a lot of product and stuff, but I'm close with Joe, and y'all have talked to him a couple of times. Like, he'll be straight up with you and be like,
we're all very good friends with Joe.
It's fucking stressful. It's hard to keep up with all of that, and it's a lot of money, and so it's that. It's like you said, if you can support your local shop, if they can get it, support them, help them stay in business. Because even, in the areas like in Texas, it's like, sometimes I look around and I'm like, I don't think people realize how close we are to being a one RC track shop, one shop state. We've got 5 or 6 now, but every one of those shops, is going through it every day and trying to figure out how they can take a little piece of that market that everybody is fighting over, so.
Yep.
I wish I had the answers. Like I said, I wouldn't offer products because people are just too much.
Yeah, that's the hard part though. Is like without having we got to have some kind of shop just to keep.
Somebody has to.
But also, like, it's like without the shop, as little money as it makes, Judd would be putting his own money into it. Judd works a full-time, job every day of the week. So it's like,
yeah, I think Jordan's the same way. He's got his 9 to 5, and then they make it happen. And he's got his right-hand guys. Like I think that's really important too. Is like every successful shot that I've seen has at least 1 or 2 guys that are like for the love of the game. They're in it. They're right there. Like you need me to close the shop down, I'll come close it down.
I mean, that's a part of our team is we have people that are able to, like, obviously a lot of us go to Worlds.
Yeah.
We don't want to close the track while
Someone's
we're there.
got to watch it.
So we got somebody at home opening the track. It's just, yeah, man, the shops, they need you to support them. They really do, especially the drift only shops. That place ain't open unless you're buying parts from them. So, and it just like it increases your own tying this back into sponsorships and stuff. If you drive at a shop that sells a bunch of not MST. Well, hey now. Nothing against MST, but they like, we know that they don't really do sponsoring of people, right? But I'm saying, like, if you drive at a shop that sells a bunch of Rev D stuff or a bunch of Overdose or whatever it is, that those companies are going to be more interested in supporting drivers at that track because of that purpose.
For sure.
I mean, we see it at PDX already. Like, we have Shibata drivers, we have Rev D drivers. Like, we need a Yokomo driver, Logan. That needs to be you.
We're working on it,
right?
I
guess speaking of sponsorships, though, Anthony Torres, congrats, Overdose.
Yeah,
big shout out to him.
Yeah, that was
worst
super
kept
cool.
secret of all time.
I mean, he did really good at RCDC, right? He was killing it out there.
He did great.
He was the first to, was it like top 16? Or was it like...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, first American. Something like that. Doing crazy stuff. He's also the featured driver in this coming up Dark Mag, so keep your eyes open for that.
Nice.
I'll have to pick that one up.
He looked all buff in that red shirt. He was
Tyler.
Swole.
Yeah, shout out to Tyler Gutierrez out in Tandem for
Yokomo
sponsorship as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
we will have some news from our side, I would say. That's about all I'll say, but there's more news to come.
Thanks, Dow. First American to even make it into top 32 tandems. There we go. The facts.
That's super cool.
And that just gives me hope because, if when I see Anthony, I'm like, dude, I could take this guy. So how far could I go at RCDC? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I was talking to Alfredo, like STC 2024, and I'm just asking about, like, hey, how does it feel to have international drivers starting to come over to the US, and like where are we at compared to them? And he's just said, like, we're catching up. We're still catching up. So it's great to see that we are getting there.
We are getting there. I really think we are. You have to remember, like, I would say, your Mikos and your Alfredos, these guys are like basically the first generation heroes.
I mean, going back, Miko selling his Xbox to get an RC drift car. Yeah, that's a big ask.
When Adam says Xbox, he doesn't mean his current Xbox. He means an Xbox.
As the original.
The original Xbox.
I have to remind myself of that, as a newer driver. I mean, and I say newer, I'm three and a half years into it. So some
Yeah.
people are like, you're not even new anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But, and especially compared to some of the Japanese drivers, they're like second and third generation over
Yeah.
there. Like you got
Yeah.
grandpas teaching kids how to drive now, you know? So
I mean, even it's not even that. It's like they already have people that have been born and raised doing it. Like Hikaru has been doing this for as long as, you know, forever. I mean, Hayato has also been doing it forever. So it's like,
yeah,
dude,
I look at my kids and I go, there's hope for you. Like, I'll put a controller as soon as you're old enough to control that car. I'm gonna get that remote in your hand, and maybe there's some hope
So,
for you.
yeah.
It's too late for me.
Yeah, it is. I think it's too late for most of us. You never know. You never know. But I don't want to count myself out. So,
No,
but
hey,
yeah,
I
dude.
think RC drift is like boxing or anything else. Like anybody can have their day. Anybody can go
I
out
agree with
there
that.
and get in the zone and just be lights out and have a good event. You know.
That's why I say that I'm going to Super G Worlds and my goal is to win, is because it's like that, dude. Anyone can have a good day. Is it likely?
Absolutely.
No. But
I mean, it takes one yip, takes one little jitter to just tap that wall, and you know you're in the next round, or the next, you know, or you're not in the next round.
The skill gap isn't as big as I think it gets played out to be sometimes.
So this is an interesting comment from Billy. Don't treat it as competition. Experience the culture and exchanging ideas. Yes, so much.
I'm assuming
yes
he's talking
on this.
about like just going to RCDC.
I mean, I think that's just a general statement.
Mm.
Like, considering SDC, like SDS, RCDC, anywhere, right? Culture.
It's really hard to do that though when you're standing on a stage in front of 150 people and a bunch of cameras and stuff. That pressure starts to get, you know, in your head a little bit.
No, they're not there. You can just erase them from your mind.
No, but I agree. You gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta have fun. Like if you're not having fun with it and you've lost that side of it, then you're kind of just torturing yourself, because this is a, you know, there's a lot of little nuances and things that can, if you're not fully mentally there and you're letting it get under your skin, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to drive good. You're not going to be focused.
Mm-hmm. And if anything, like if you are in it for the competition, like don't let it get you down, but like let it be the pathway to self-betterment, right? Look for the ways that you can improve. Look for the ways that others can help you improve.
Well, winning anything, right? Like any kind of big championship, any kind of like that moment, that high of being at the top and like podium, winning, all of that, it feels good. But right after that's done, like you go back to work. You start all over again, and it's that journey. It's the process of getting to that moment that actually makes that moment feel like that. Because if you just didn't put any of that in and you just showed up and podiumed at finals, like, I don't really care. It's, it wasn't anything. I didn't do anything that was that spectacular, because you wouldn't feel like you earned it or you worked for it, So I think you have to enjoy the journey. That's 95% of it.
Right, 100%. I was also going with a completely ulterior motive with that comment too, because if you haven't been paying attention to the Discord, there's a lot that's happened in the Discord.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot that's happened online, and I do want to cover it, but I do want to try to cover it as unbiased as I can. And I do want to try to cover like a perspective from both sides as well. I don't know what 100% of each spectrum is, but I do have like personal feelings and whatnot. So if you didn't know, there's a whole thing about this past week.
Wait for me.
So if you didn't know, there's a whole thing, like Super G, I don't know how they do it, but they have this way of announcing things, and it just like blows up and catches on fire, and it's insane to say the least. So this time, last year was burn tunes. Like, burn tunes are bad. Burn tunes are allowed. What's next? So what's next is the mention of 3D printed parts being allowed, or like somewhat okay, or not okay, or just being used in the event of SDC. Now, I don't know. Where do we want to go with
this
that?
is going to be the rest of this podcast. Most likely will be taken up by this conversation.
I'm gonna grab my pitchfork. Hold
so
on.
if you guys wanted to roast my rig tonight, yeah, good luck.
Pulled out my headphones.
I know there's people in chat just waiting for this too.
I'll start it off from the side of I don't have anything 3D printed on my car. When I read that, I was like, okay. It didn't even register to me. It wasn't until I talked to you guys that
felt the same way.
So I guess we should probably cover that for people that are kind of like on my side, because I've been driving a Golem for 2.5 years, and I'm not really, designing, or like we get in trouble if we try to do anything like that. It's like a big no. The Golem community will come for your life.
Oh yeah, you can't have 3D printed custom stuff on a Golem. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So could you guys tell me, like, what are some of the things that would be used on the GRK, or what are some parts that are going to be causing that controversy around that?
Ooh,
is it like chassis or like transmission?
Literally everything from, so as far as I could tell initially, the rule applies to anything basically between your wheel nuts and the chassis itself. So outside of like electronics and beyond is fine.
Battery mounts, body mounts. There's one other thing, electronics, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, everything else is supposedly illegal.
So to answer your question, I've seen literally all of it. Every single piece that is involved.
I thought the rule originally was that, like, parts, and maybe it was a body thing or something, but I thought there was a rule already prior to all of this that was basically the parts that you were running had to be like available retail. Like, it had to be something that was purchasable.
That was already a rule, actually, which I think a lot of people are glossing over the fact. It was already a rule that what you were using, I'd have to go back and we'll have to find the
pull up 24 or 23 and look at it,
because I remember being worried about my chassis because it was a prototype at the time, but then was available by the time.
And we've had some conversations here in Texas, because we have a couple of guys that run custom, like, milled CNC, different chassis and things that they've created and used other parts with it, so it's like, but I mean, is it just like they have to sell it to anybody? Or I think, like Adam was saying, in RCDC, is there a 30-day, like, it has to be publicly available for a certain amount of time?
That wasn't RCDC. So a friend of ours.
That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, they do 28th scale stuff, and the rule for that series is that anything that they're doing 3D printed has to be available publicly. Like, it's got to be out there for at least 30 days before it can be used in competition. And that I actually like. Like, it makes sense. It gives availability and the ability for everybody to tune with that for a month, right? For RCDC, the rule is, like, you can only use parts that have manufacturers that are sponsoring RCDC. At least that's what I've understood. That's what I've understood from all the comments that have been flowing in Discord, and SD, like, Super G chat.
I saw that comment too, and Shane didn't really elaborate much, but I did see where he was like, "That's not how it works," but okay. So I don't know if that's like, idea, like, maybe people get upset because they think they can buy their certain people, and which, I mean, I'm sure people can buy their way in, right? If you're already a part manufacturer and you have a huge R&D and, you know, manufacturing budget, like, yeah, that's what they're doing, is they have their drivers that are literally sitting there driving and saying, I need a knuckle that does this. That's how we get our new parts, you know?
Mhm.
But again, like, they have to make that available to everybody else, as far as I know, before they can run that, correct? Or do they?
I think
Because
so.
I've wondered, you know, like
So-
Rio coming to America and running different springs, right?
Well-
Like they had those square springs. Nobody else was running that, and they were already prototyping that and running those, you know, well before the middle of last year. So how much of that is actually like caught and followed?
Yeah, like tech is incredibly important there, right? Like the thought came to me the other day, like, so if it does go as RCDC, you have to be sponsoring RCDC to be able to use their parts and chassis and stuff like that. Well, what if Yuzakani isn't there, but you have a Yokomo diff with Yuzakani internals, right, for their LSD? What happens there?
So
Yeah.
I have a couple points here. First, if you don't think Hayato was running the HRP stuff at SDC Worlds, you are wrong. And there's a reason why they were tallying that car the whole time. And I did remember the rules that I had read. It was body only back then. That said, when it comes to RCDC, the only thing the only reason that is at all relevant to us is because, at least up until now, they will send a driver to RCDC if they win this event. So that's the only reason that's relevant to me, because obviously if we're going to send a driver there, we're going to want to make sure they're complying with their rules. That said, I don't really care to discuss or apply their rules to us, to conform with what they're doing. It doesn't matter to me. It's not at all important, because this is where we're at. We're here. So I do love the change of having a US bracket for the champions. That's really good. But as far as this rule goes, it's tough. I see both sides of it. I really do. I want to say, for the approach of Steve, this is something that they do in their spare time. That a lot of us have gotten a lot of opportunity by participating in these things in SDC rounds, going to Worlds, meeting people, receiving great hospitality at Worlds. It's a lot of weight on their shoulders, but it's creating these rules is probably one of the hardest things they do. It's really difficult to consider every single little minute aspect, and I think for them, they probably just are going for whatever the easiest solution at the time that they can think of is. And I don't believe for a second that anything that they do regarding the rules is purely from a financial benefit aspect. I don't believe that. I think they're just doing, I generally believe that they're in good faith doing what they think is best for the competition from a driver's perspective.
Well, and I guess on the flip side of that, like goals wise for the overall like view of what Super G is to the US, right? Because SDC is legitimately, and my camera apparently,
Yeah, your camera cut out.
Well, so like SDC is literally the RCDC of the US, right? Less restrictions, less rules, but at the same time, it's like it's our pinnacle, right? So how to make that better, and become closer to, like, lessen the gap to RCDC, right? That's what I think is happening here. I don't think it's meant to be like, oh, now we're going to be the like elitist people that is is there, right?
No.
It's like, how do we make ourselves that much closer to that style, to RCDC? How do we get to that level without just adding the cameras and the music and the lights? Like,
well, so I've long been on this, and it's a very controversial point of view that I have personally, but I think we all do need to respect the origins of the sport and where it came from, and we need to acknowledge that. We need to not forget that. But we also don't have to just blindly treat that as the holy gospel forever. We don't have to blindly just follow what they're doing. You know, we can kind of forge our own way in a sense. And RCDC is absolutely, I'm not going to argue, it's the pinnacle of the sport. Doesn't mean it has to be forever, and it doesn't mean that we have to just concede and always. I think we should establish our own kind of way and style and driving and stuff like that.
So there is a little bit of clarification for RCDC. For RCDC Japan, you have to use brands which is available in Japanese RC market. There is 1 year someone was using Tamiya TT01, but Tamiya was not a sponsor, but it was there. Okay.
You also don't have to be sponsored.
And
I
then,
think
Aaron, you brought up, like, when we were talking the other day about, like, how the application process goes. Like, if you're going over to RCDC, there has to be a reason why you're taking a spot, right?
Yeah, so that's, when I had the conversations with Ito about it, that was his main point, was they have a series there, just like we have our series, and they're competing all year to be able to make it to RCDC. So, when an American driver gets a spot, there's only so many spots there. So we're taking the spot of somebody who's competed, and they want to know why. Like, what has that person done? What kind of series are they? And those same questions that we have about driver quality, right? Well, I don't care that they won these events. They're winning in America. I would win everything in America. Same type of, thought process goes into that. So there has to be some kind of justification for them. And I'm speaking like I've actually been through this process at all. This is just off of the conversation with Ito. I'm sure Miko and these guys,
the guy, right? So
yeah. But that it makes sense, right? It's like they're competing and they feel like that's their pathway. So when somebody who's not in their series gets in, there needs to be a good reason why.
And I think that's literally the only barrier to entry for foreign visitors. It's not.
And I think it's going to be there. I think they really want to push that. Like, I think I know the UK, like, they're pushing to get more U.S. drivers. That was one of the things that Josh said. He was like, hey, make sure all those U.S. drivers know, like, we would love to have them come over and compete with us. We want to, bridge that gap. And, of course, flying to the UK and stuff, like, it's, it's a bit of a trip, but I think it wasn't really on my radar as much until I saw what they were doing over there, and it's like, man, they got a lot of cool tracks. Like, I want to go over there.
I think they have a stronger like RC drifter per capita number than we do. Even like, there's a lot of those dudes out. There's as many tracks in a little island as there are on the West Coast, if not more.
Yeah, they're killing it out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of the push that we're seeing, is like all over the world. We're seeing this go from being compartmentalized to our areas, to where it's like now everybody is really, like Alfredo said, we're catching up. A lot of the drivers are feeling like they have a chance, or that it makes sense for us to go over and represent, where maybe before it was like, or we just didn't even know. It kind of takes some of these guys coming over here and driving with us. Like you said, it's like, I watch Rio, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I watch him drive, and he's a machine. That's the thing. But I also, like, every time I watch him, I'm like, I can drive with him. I'm not scared to drive with him. I love to get the opportunity. He's just so consistent. to me, that's the difference in his driving is,
It's a
and
it's a
he's
level of
so
consistency.
consistent when it matters.
But
Like when the pressure is on, that's when
Yeah.
he's dialed. And
For
that's the
me-
opposite for most people.
For me, what I noticed on Rio is that the consistency is there, but it's the consistency of his chase. He's getting
yeah.
into people's doors in places where nobody gets into anybody's door. You know,
It gets in your mind,
if
gets in
you
your
look
head.
at-
I can't get away.
the biggest thing I think about is anytime you watch and there's a straightaway with a manji or something like that, he's in your door on a manji. It's like, what are you you can't I can't get anywhere near someone's door. Like, that's crazy. That's really hard to do. And then to be right back, like, it's like on your door, we're going high speed manji. There's like half a second to get in and out, but he's in there.
Yeah.
And then he's right back there on the sweeper. It's like, how do you do that? I don't know how to do that.
It's fun to watch him and Junta drive together. Like when they really get dialed in and they're pushing each other, because that's how it looks. It almost looks like one car is just pushing the other car around the track. They're so close to each other and just get out of the way. And you know,
that's how I describe Rio's driving is like he's always within an inch of the other guy's bumper somehow.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what? How?
Well, and I didn't realize how much RC drifting was tied into, like, I saw Ito shared an article the other day talking about him, and they were talking about how these kids are coming up through the RC drift culture, like starting in RC drift and then moving into the one-to-one. You know, like there's a couple of them that are like young drivers that started it with RC cars. So to me, that's kind of like, I don't know, that's really cool. It's kind of inspiring because it's like maybe some of this stuff we do learn does, you know, cross over and make sense in the real world too.
Yeah. I like Genki's comment. It's the transmitter tail. Secret tech inside.
Which does he still use it?
I don't know, but I don't want to go there because when I seen those, they are very different than
The furry tails.
Yeah. I don't want to use one of those.
I used somebody's remote that had one, and I was like so bothered by it. It kept touching my elbow and shit. I was like, "What is this? Like, get off of me,
David! Get your mind out of the gutter, dude. What are you doing?" Yeah, I couldn't handle. I very much dislike stuff hanging off of my transmitter. It's not fun. I'm not down for that. David.
Rio, is that right, Anthony?
I don't know.
That's Panda Apex, right? Or who is that?
That's
Dow. But yeah, I mean, we have to circle back to the whole point of this conversation. I think so. A lot of the arguments I saw were comparing to RCDC, and I think that's a little bit of a moot point. Like, who cares what they're doing? We're doing our own thing. So then you go back to the core of it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think the most basic aspect is you have to appease the most amount of people, right? Who are you going to have now? The people that are displeased are always the loudest, right?
Yeah.
But how many people are you going to have that are custom designing and printing out their own parts that are, you know, actually usable and making a true difference in their car? It's a small fraction, a handful of people versus guys like me who are going to go, what the fuck? I can't do that. I can't design. Excuse my language, but I can't design that. Like I have a 3D printer here. Maybe I could teach myself over, you know, time, but it's just not the same playing field. And I think you're gonna have a lot more people being like, "Hey, that's not fair. I can't get my hands on that part."
That was one point or argument that I've seen was that the accessibility. Everyone was pointing to the accessibility of 3D printing these days. And while I agree, it is extremely accessible. There's one right behind me, right here, somewhere over here. You can go to the library often and get a 3D printer. But I think that's a bad faith argument because, and that's what's like annoyed me a little bit is the people that I've seen making this argument is like, oh, anyone can go buy a 3D printer. And it's like, but it takes a lot of time and work to design a 3D printed part. You know, it's not just going and buying a 3D printer. So It's you gotta actually be able to do it. You gotta design it. You gotta
Well, and
actually
it's
know
like,
what you're doing. Like
what do
I
they
can,
do? What do they do in other motorsports? Like, if you have a NASCAR team, do you get to come out with a brand new caliper and run it? Like, and this is a genuine question.
no,
Like,
yeah. I
is there
mean,
guidelines as to
it
what you
really
can
just
run?
depends on the sport. Like in F1, they have a very specific window that you're allowed to operate in, and between that, you're free to design. But it's hard to compare RC drifting to those type of sports because it's so at a much lower level. I mean, we're talking about $1 million sports, $1 billion sports, right? Like this is regardless of whether or not we're competing in SDC or whatever, this is still like a very much a grassroots kind of vibe to me. Like we're all spending less than, being generous, we're all spending less than $5,000, on our cars. And that's
But
being
yeah,
very
just
generous, which
still
is,
think about that number.
it's a very high number, right? But that is a corporate meal to these other teams, right? That are designing crazy 3D printed parts. Here's the thing. So I don't really like the rule as it initially came out. It was kind of vague and it was kind of blanket, but from the same cloth, like I understand it because, like I said, it's Steve and Joey trying to resolve an issue that they foresee that only I would say only they have the best foresight to predict this problem, right? Because they've been doing this for a long time.
I
They're
think
trying to solve a problem that they see coming up, and they're trying to do it in a way that is as easy as possible to enforce.
But what is that problem? I think that's a really big
That's the
mystery.
question. That is a big question, and we kind of talked about this on Poria's episode. I think realistically, like we're at a point where it wouldn't be that hard to. No, that's false. It would be hard, but the reality is, it like a fully 3D printed, like organic, like optimized topology generative chassis, right, with arms and everything, is not that far away. I mean, that could happen tomorrow, legitimately, if someone smart put in the time for it. So I think like the inevitability that they're trying to avoid is they're balancing. So that's kind of my point earlier that before the podcast, but we always only look at their choices from the aspect of us as customers of their product, and of their product being SDC, the series. Like we are customers of that, right? We sign up for it. We pay our local shops to do it. We go to Worlds. We pay them to do it. That's one side of it. They also have a bunch of supporting people that help make that happen, which are all these companies. The reason why you get a pit mat when you go to Worlds, the reason why there's funding for a lot of the stuff, the experience of Worlds, is because of there's companies, right? So they're looking at a reality that essentially in the near future, we kind of won't really need them that much. I mean, I don't want to say that as a blanket statement because obviously they can adapt, right? That's the whole point, is that we move everything forward. They can adapt to that. But we're in a world where realistically you can just download an RC drift car and print it at home, right? And that's very real. I don't think anyone would argue with me on that. You can do it probably today. Now, is it going to break?
Yeah, they're on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically just protecting those.
Yeah, I think, to say it's a money grab thing, I really doubt they're losing that much money to 3D printing right now. I think it's more just protecting their relationships with their suppliers and their people that fund their events. That's fine with me for them to do that. You know what I mean? And all this stuff will still happen regardless of whether or not they have a rule. Like, I don't think anyone that's making stuff now is going to quit because they can't compete in SDC worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think checkered past, like he's saying the same thing that I think is like, I think you get to that point where people are going to say it's unfair. It's an unfair advantage to have parts that aren't available.
I think that's also, there's a note that Steve posted that we weren't too sure what exactly he was trying to say. Let me pull it up, but I think I get it. It was so that the rule was implemented to avoid some issues which are undoubtedly going to arise in the very near future. So he's talking about some people will do it in a way that helps, and they'll share their designs and they'll make them available, but some people won't. So he's saying some people will design stuff and only make it available to their own, people, and then undoubtedly that will raise an issue. So it's not even the people bogarting designs and sharing it. It's not them that's the issue. It's the people that will undoubtedly complain about that and take issue with the fact that they can't obtain something and are going to make a big stink out of losing because they're going to complain that
there's no regulation around it.
And if you don't think that's real, then you haven't been to an RC Drift Comp, because people will bring up any argument they can to avoid losing.
There was a comment in the thread also that was basically like, well, what's the actual advantage? Like, there's no structural advantage to like 3D printing, or like, is there an advantage currently that would completely overshadow a manufactured part from one of these companies, right?
It doesn't matter if there's an advantage or not, if it actually exists or not. There are certain people in the competitive space that will take any ounce of an excuse they can to complain and then bash SDC for it.
Mm-hmm.
That will happen. And I don't like that. That sucks, right? I would never do that. And a lot of us, I think everyone watching this podcast would never do something like that. But the reality is that will happen. People are that petty.
And there's a lot of comments about overdose I'm seeing in the comments that you can't, if it's available, the thing is, like, it is available right now. There's stuff for pre-order, like whether or not you want to buy the parts when they first come out. Like in 3 years, I haven't seen I haven't seen an overdose part come out that didn't go on pre-order first. And pen shops in the United States told you they had it on pre-order and even offered some kind of discount to pre-order it and all these things. And then it sells out and people are like, well, I can't get that. I mean, I can open RC Drift Marketplace right now. There's GOMs for sale. Like I would argue I can't afford, am I going to go buy $100 3D printer? What's the quality of that? Is it about the quality of $100 RC drift car? Am I going to get the same quality? Are those parts that you're printing being printed on a $100 or $200 obtainable printer, or are you using a $1,500 AMS Bamboo Lab, and a design software that costs you $1,000 or $250 a year, or like everything has a barrier to entry. So I don't necessarily think it's can you make it yourself? It's like, again, it goes back to, like, I'm all for people doing 3D printed parts. If you, like you said, make it available. Like, if you think it's a great part and it is a benefit to that chassis or whatever, sell it. Like, I'm cool with you even making money on it. You created a product. Now, you might run into problems with the manufacturer having an issue with you creating stuff that cuts them out. But I mean, hobby shops, I'm sure, run into the same problems with manufacturers not supporting their hobby shop. That's why one of the comments, RCHQ creating their own mini Z chassis so they can corner a market to try to take some of that business from Kyosho and bring it back in-house, because Kyosho helps, but they're not helping pay the rent there. You're making $10-15 on a RTR car, whether it's a Mini Z or a RC drift car. Like the margins, they're not paying their rent off of that.
Yeah. That's like part of my point is, as someone who supports people making stuff, like I said, to accuse anyone of making such a rule for financial reasons just doesn't make any sense to me, because it's not, nobody is selling these parts that are allegedly banned, or may or may not be banned in such a quantity that it matters to Super G, right? That's just real. Oh, we lost Aaron.
Oh
No, I'm here.
Oh, he froze. Never mind.
I was reading comments.
That boy can sit still. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a financial deal, I don't think.
I mean, even if it is, like, isn't this America? I forgot at what point we all became the land of nonprofits.
Okay, Randy Marsh.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man! Like, let people make some money. Like, at a certain point, you do have to protect, because guess what happens when businesses stop making money and stop protecting their bottom line? You know what happens? They fail to exist. They close their doors. How often do we see people closing their doors, not just in RC, but in every aspect of small business across the world, not charging enough for your product because you want to make your customer happy. You don't want them to think that they're getting ripped off or overcharged because someone overseas can beat your price. We lose. The business owner ends up being the one who loses in that situation. So, you know what? If it's a money thing, kudos to them for protecting their nut.
Fair.
That's all I gotta say.
Fair. Yeah. I want to address this comment from Lance. And I know that Lance is probably one of our biggest, he's one of the biggest proponents of allowing 3D printed parts, because he's a maker. He makes stuff. He builds stuff, and so he's pointing out the fact that there is a specific targeting of 3D printed parts versus if you wanted to get it machined, it's allowed, right? And I really think that's just a case of them just not having a fully fleshed out plan. Like we saw with the Burn Tune, right? It was a whole year and a half or 2 years until that was settled to the point that it is now. Like they're not like taking these rules and running them through. And this is one criticism I'll give them, but it's not like they're making some master plan and having consultants to figure out what the exact. I think this is a very complicated issue, right? So they're just doing the best that they can do in the time that they have, because they're trying to get this series started. They want people to know the rules that are going to be applied. So they're trying to release this, and that was the best solution that they could come up with, taking all factors into account that most people who are complaining about the rule probably don't even recognize, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not defending the rule at all. I'm not a big fan of it, but I also give a lot of credit and leeway to Steve and Joey, because of what they're doing is complicated, it's difficult, and it is a benefit to the entire RC Drift community. And if you don't agree with that, then I just can't. It really is.
Oh, and who's to say that CNC won't also fall under that rule as we continue on? I mean, if in another 2 or 3 years, everybody's got, there's 4 of us sitting here, at least 2 of us have a 3D printer sitting on our desk. There's probably 10 people in the comments that have a 3D printer sitting next to them. It's become a commonplace for a lot of people to have it. So it's an issue that they have to address, where people CNCing their own parts and laser cutting and doing all of that. Maybe there's one person in this whole group that has one,
Well, so this is the funny thing, is that this has been brought up by Lance once again. He's coming at me. if
I was gonna bring it
I
up.
have a custom aluminum part that was custom made. I designed it and I had it made. And if there was a rule created, I made my motor out. If there was a rule created banning it, you know what I would do? And this was before I was even sponsored by AggiVance. You know what I would do? I would have just bought the damn thing to make it fit on my car because I like it's literally I can release it if I want to. I don't care. Nobody wants it. So that's the problem. Yeah, like it's not that big of a deal. I honestly spent more money on it than if I had just bought the stupid adapter. So that's not really
It seems to me like there is a very strong at least perceived advantage to these 3D parts, or else why would everybody be that up in arms about it?
I don't think this is my honest DJ do a kickflip, by the way. I don't think anyone is coming at this from I think most of the people that are upset with the rule are the people that are making stuff. I don't think anyone that is just only using a 3D printed part and it didn't make it, just has it, just happens to have it, is that upset about this rule. Because at the end of the day, we all know, like, this is not something that is going to make us such a better driver that we're dependent on this one 3D printed part.
So does this count? I'm gonna ask, am I illegal because of this piece that I did? So this is 3D printed. This is my battery bullet holder.
Oh no, that's mounting electronics.
Sick.
You're good.
Right?
No, you're good.
That counts as mounting electronics? Okay.
Yeah. No, look, like I said, I don't back the rule. I don't back a lot of the rules. So that's just what it is. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it is Super G is in a position. They put on this whole series. They put on the event. I have personally benefited from all of their events, right? I'm okay for them to make a rule that I don't necessarily agree with, because especially when I don't think that it is that big of a deal. Like they get some leeway to do things that they think are right. I trust Steve and Joey and anyone else involved. I don't know who all's involved. I'm just saying Steve and Joey. I trust all of them to do what they think is best. And if I don't agree with it or I don't understand it, you know, that's okay. I don't think those guys are out there, because at the end of the day, if the sport fails because of something that, like, the sport failing is not in their best interest, basically, right? Like, they want their business to stay open. RC Drift being more popular and more, you know, having more people involved is only good for them. And they've done a lot to grow the sport as it is. So,
and let's be real.
That's my approach.
Let's be real. Competitions is, like, it's only a small part of this hobby. Like, such a small fraction of this hobby that, like, yes, it's cool. It gets
the most screen time, but it is a very small part of the hobby. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll make you better faster. That's for sure.
I think there's rules in every sport too, you know, like at the end of the day, when you have a host or, you know, an organizing sponsor, which is what, I mean, it's SDC, it's the Super Drift Championship for Super G.
Yep.
At the end of the day, they get to make rules, you know, like the PGA says that golfers can't wear shorts. I'm sure there's a lot of golfers that think that that's the dumbest, it's disadvantage. There's no advantage to shorts. There's this, there's that, but it truly doesn't matter because it's their organization, it's their tournament, and it's their rules. If you don't like it, well, you cannot participate, or you can go out and create your own series that has your own rule set. I think the no light rule is crazy. Like, I never understood why we don't have lights, you know?
Who cares?
So, but I'm not gonna, you know, I move on with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's their choice.
Yeah. And like I said, I understand the perspective of people who do make these parts, right? I get it. It would feel very frustrating if you put all this time and work. I know how much work it takes to design something, right? Like it would be very frustrating to find that you can no longer have your parts participate in this series. I'd be upset. I would.
We got some UK guys. We got FPS in the chat.
I understand the no light rule. I don't necessarily hate it.
Like headlights?
Yeah, no. Have you seen some of like the light kits from days of old with all the flashing and strobing?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that.
But we're so like, yeah. I mean, I've never experienced a light kit that actually distracted me, and I'm sure there were some at some point, and I'm sure, you know, like so that's kind of a good example, right? Because they're taking a scenario where if they allow lights, do you think there will be people that install super bright LEDs, laser things that are pointed directly at eye level and have super crazy flashing lights on the back? Do you think if you think there's not people that would do that? Of course there is.
No,
like,
for sure.
Yeah. So like
one of my first events, there was a car like that.
It's just they're trying to take out the issues in one fell swoop, because I promise you, as an event runner, the last thing you want is a super upset driver pissed off that your rules somehow screwed them, right?
If you give an inch, people will take a mile.
If you give an inch, they'll take a mile. So that
Yeah,
goes
my
back
first-
to the point of, I know I've seen a lot of people making the point, like, none of these parts give us an advantage. We all just like making stuff for our own style. It's not you that's the issue. It's the other customers that will be butthurt about it. That's the issue. I think that's what they're trying to avoid, is people being upset by you doing what you've done.
And also, like, we're at an age where, like, our demographic, especially, you talk about people that will just eviscerate people online. Like, you tell them something they don't like, and they will make it a personal vendetta to just bash you and trash you every opportunity that they get. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, they're just kind of protecting their CYA. You know, you gotta expect the worst out of people. 95% of people are going to be totally fine and understand and be cool with it, but it's those that small select that will just make your life so miserable that you start to get into situations like this, where it's like, all right, it's got to be black and white. There's not any, you know, like, okay, well, this will be okay, but not this. Like, you know, and to me, that's the best way to do it. You know, just be and be firm in it. Now, I like that they did some research, you know, last year with the burn tunes. Like you said, you know, they came out and they were like, no burn tunes. And then I thought Steve did a really good job of addressing it and being like, look, we looked into it more. We did more research on it. We've talked to more people about it, and we're going to change course on it for this reason.
Yeah. That
to me, that's honorable, you know, like
that brings up my only real criticism of this whole ordeal, for as far as Super G is concerned, is I would like to see more outreach and more getting the community as a whole involved in these decisions. So I would like to see, you know, some kind of a survey or something, even if it's just with the track hosts that are doing the STC, at least have it be more of a communal decision a little bit. I'm not saying you have to listen to everybody. I'm just saying at least get some input before you make decisions like this. That would be my only criticism of this whole event.
I'll do it.
As
I'll
of
post
now,
a status.
it'll be on RC Drift
Make a
RC
video.
Drift IO.
Yeah. No, I agree with Lance on that. Get perspectives, get input. And like I said, I'm not saying you have to listen to or follow what is, just get, you know, get the temperature of the room. this happens in a lot of other motorsports. They do surveys and stuff of teams, and they find out what their teams want to see and what their competitors want to see, and then they make these decisions. I don't feel like a lot of people were given the opportunity to, provide input on this decision.
As of now,
That'll probably.
As of now, the rule stands as like you can do whatever you want in your region, right?
In your region. And
but
at Worlds,
that's where it changes. So the whole 8th month, you have 8 months to build a car that's legitimate for SDC.
Yeah,
which honestly is hilarious because this is the biggest time span that we've had for a rule from SDC.
Can we talk real quick about maybe the chat will know a little bit more, but what's the feeling, what's the understanding on this new championship round? Because
I love it so much.
I think it's cool, but how does that work?
So
is that another weekend?
No, I think it'll just be done, because if you think about it, it's going to be pretty short. They did I probably have a photo of it on my Instagram, but they did a moment right in during the SDC Worlds weekend where they brought all the regional champions out on the track.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a small amount of people. We could do that bracket like in 45 minutes probably.
Well, you got what, like 30 regions this year, 32?
Yeah, but how many regions actually send their champion?
Yeah.
And how many regions just fall out completely?
So, but then the flip side of that is, does that mean the rest of those days, like if you're not a region champion, what, you're going for a participation award? You're going just to say that you went to Worlds?
No. So you win if you win your region, at some point during the Worlds weekend, there will be a bracket for only the regionals to decide and declare a United States champion, which I think is very cool to do, because the way it's set up now is the United States champion will be Japanese.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean,
give us all a chance to duke, or not. I say us because I did it once. Give all the champions a moment to duke it out and pick an American driver that is the U.S. Drift King. And then everyone is still qualified for Worlds, and you go do Worlds.
Yeah, but again, like say I'm not a region champion.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Worlds event. Like I can go to Worlds and enjoy it, but I can't be the champ unless that person, like, to me, 2 points. Being at Worlds and it ending at 4:30 or 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and the amount of fatigue that goes into it, I can't imagine how tired those judges are going to be to add a whole nother bracket and basically tournament within a tournament that's going on. And 2, again, like, what are the other brackets and the other 160, 180, however many people sign up for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? Say you go through and you win all of that and you win everything. You everybody you battled that weekend, you beat, but you weren't your region's champion for some reason, because you only have to go to 3 or win 1, podium 1 to qualify, right? So
yeah,
say you're not the region's champion, you beat everybody Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but you don't have an opportunity to be the U.S. Drift King.
This is another area where
isn't it a participation award at that point?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the deal.
Why not give that person number 32 into the championship round?
Here's the deal.
Yeah. Here's the deal.
I get this perspective too, right? Like, it's not easy to attend every event in your region, which you likely have to do in order to win the championship. But at the end of the day, the people that do attend every round are making that sacrifice that you're not able to. And that is not their fault. Okay? Just that out. Like, that's rough. I agree with you to a sense that it would be nice to see something like the top 3 drivers from a region can enter this additional bracket. That would be sick. The reality of it is like you said, we're already wondering when the heck they're going to do that, right? When are they going to pull that off? So if now we go from 16 drivers to 32 drivers, and it starts to become an issue with time.
I mean,
So,
what if the regional champs are already seeded into top 32?
Or why not just make it harder to go to Worlds in general? Like make the because right now you're basically making it to where anybody can go. You show up to 50% of the tournaments.
I can respond to both of your questions. Adams was why not automatically seed into top 32? And my answer to that, and I have a unique perspective on this because I did experience being automatically seeded into a final top 32 at RCDF last year. I didn't like that. I wanted to have to prove my worth in that competition through qualifying, because in my head, I believe that qualifying and, single and double qualifying in tandem are both two halves of the discipline, right?
Mhm.
You should be able to do a lap by yourself when it's demanded, and then you should be able to go do these battles. So I don't like the idea of being automatically seeded. And then to what Adam was saying is why don't we get more, make it harder to qualify for Worlds?
That was Aaron.
The problem with that is that if you've noticed it's heavily populated by Californians, right? So the problem is if we make it harder to qualify for Worlds, say something like you have to be top 8 in your region to qualify for Worlds. Now all of a sudden Worlds goes from a giant party event with everyone from not everyone, but a lot of people from all over the country, coming together, to now it is a much smaller event with way less people, which might be a good thing, but I like the idea of keeping it as open as possible, because it just means there's more people. When there's 160 people, it's really fun. It's one event of the year that it's that many people. When it's, realistically, like I said, if you took all the regions that currently exist, it's 30-something regions, and you said, the top 5 people from every region qualify for Worlds, how many people do you think would actually show up to Worlds?
Well, you would have to have alternates, I don't think it would change it that much.
Oh, it would, dude. I mean, I think there would be.
I think it makes it more of an honor.
There were not I think it makes it to where from every region.
No, but I think that there's a lot of people who don't go based off of the fact that they're like, I don't have a chance there, and like competing, getting. I don't know. I mean, I think that at a certain point you have to earn it. Like at a certain point, there has to be an event that people feel like they earned, that they didn't just show up and get into.
I agree. I agree with you 100% on that. I just don't think we're not at the level where people are so willing to travel and able to travel for such an event. Like, honestly, I've said it, like SDC is like, it's pretty much the West Coast Championship. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of people from Midwest and the East, but there's a lot of regions, and there's a lot of places where there's not even an SDC region, right? So it's hard to call it that. So I just like, I do agree with you. It would be sick if like every state had a series, and everyone in that state competed in that series, and then everyone that got top 3 or top 5 was able to travel to LA and compete at SDC Worlds. That would be ideal for me. I just think right now there's not enough people that are able to do that or willing to do that, to the point if you literally, I think if you said each region can only send 5 people, there'd be 40 people at SDC Worlds.
Yeah.
I think that now would suck.
But on that same note, though, like then we get into the realms of, just like Josh was saying, pro spec and pro groups, right? Then you get into different classifications, and then we are at that level of RCDC. We're at that level of TDC with multiple competitions going.
Yeah, I mean RCDC, it's 32. That's it, and they'll have 100 and something.
And so to
Yeah.
go full circle, right? RC Drift IO comes back into play here because having a formal organization and ranking and tracking system where all of these platforms can be built up and tracked, like we might get to a point one day where your record in tournaments, you know, if they're all hosted on that app and, you know, we've figured out the algorithm or the formula for this, maybe seeding is done. Like, you know, I talked to Jeremy over at Driftwell, and it's like, what if we didn't qualify? Like, what if you were already seeded based on how you performed, how you did, or there was an event that basically seeded you for that, and then when you get there, you go into battles? Because there's a lot of people that I feel like there's a lot of people at finals that never get to battle that are great battle drivers,
Oh, yeah,
like
100%.
way better battle drivers that,
Yeah.
you know, never even make the show because of a slip up in qualifying or something. That's like, haven't we been qualifying for this all year long?
See, that's where you lose me, because like I said, I feel like the qualifying part of it is literally like 50%. In my head, literally, I swear, you have solo and tandem, and those make two halves to a whole of a competitive drifter. That's just my opinion, though. I understand.
I just feel like I just feel like it makes it so, like, you're putting everything on one, like 30 seconds. You're putting a year's worth of work on 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah.
you know, and you can have, you know, I don't know. I think that it doesn't, you end up with people who aren't necessarily the best drivers because you have people that might have made one flip or one thing.
I think it really that really calls into question how
as
you're
opposed
defining
to
the best driver. You know, I think the whole
Yeah.
package is the best driver.
But what if somebody, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can see it from both.
We can all do
ways.
laps at home. We can all do party laps after 30 minutes.
Well, that wouldn't count. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about ranked tournaments. Like, I'm talking about how you performed throughout SDC, the number of points that you earned throughout the tournaments, your overall driver rating. Like, there would be a much bigger formula than just like, you know.
I like the way that qualifying well helps you in a tournament bracket. I like the way that tournaments are seeded, so that, yeah. I mean, I think the core of this is just that we don't agree that qualifying is important, or not that it's not important, just that it's not part of the discipline.
I think it's important. It's important. I just think that there's more than one. Like, you could qualify people more than just like the two warm-up laps, especially at an event like finals where you might go 3 hours between getting your second lap.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's not looking at who's necessarily the.
That's fair, dude. I would wreck house in that class because I drove like that for a year and a half.
I mean, okay, so I think it also comes down to, what is SDC trying to be? Are they trying to be like that superior tier level competition spec, or are they going to try? Because we're at a breaking point, right? Because it's like, is it going to continue to be like the place to hang out, like for that one competition, right? Good times, good vibes, track all day, track all night, right? Or is it going to finally evolve into this more serious level of competition?
So, going back to the for money argument, it's in their best interest to keep it the way it is, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's 100 and something people showing up, right? So,
some odd 160.
I was reading the comment. What was your question again? I heard you say keeping it the same as far as like SDC.
I mean, for me, it's just like, are they going to pursue this more professional level of competition, or do they keep it the same? Like, how do they keep it a good time for everyone just showing up, right? Because last year was 160 people or something like that, right? How do they facilitate 160 person competition?
Yeah, I don't think there's definitely not room for it to grow. Like, that's already, if you ask them, that's already the worst week of their lives. Like, we can't have more people. I mean, I guess you could hire more people, whatever, but I mean, the
I think
physical
personally,
space is already at a limit.
I think they'll keep trending towards I think that that's what Super G is. Like, they are the premier, they're the professional, they're setting the benchmark for us. So I think that they're going to keep trying to move in that direction and showing, the other tracks how to have that type of spot. But I think that it's important for the majority of other tracks to know that I don't think SDC or competitions is like the end all be all to your track. I mean, I do think that there is still a huge layer of this, like you guys doing the drift to death thing. Like, there's a whole section of this community that doesn't want anything to do with it.
Drift to death is our only, like, that is 100% our main focus. Our jewel is drift to death. Like, I do think SDC events benefit us. I think they benefit us more as drivers than as a track. But Drift to Death, the event, is 100% like the ace in the hole as far as growing our track and our community. That's our main focus for sure.
And that was just, I just wanted to make that comment for track owners or like people at tracks. Like, if your track doesn't do SDC, it might not necessarily be because they don't want to do it or they hate competitions or something, but there are certain tracks that don't necessarily benefit. Like, when I was judging at the hobby shop, there was definitely, like, Saturday, especially when a lot of people choose a Saturday to do it, like, drift tracks don't normally have a hard time getting people to show up on a Saturday. But you put a competition on a Saturday and now you have 15 or 20 people that show up versus your normal Saturday where you had 30 or 40 people show up throughout the day. They're kind of giving to be able to provide something for us as a community. So I think as drivers, we have to remember that the tracks sacrifice. A lot of times we think that, oh, they're making money and they're doing this, they're selling tires and this and that. But really, I think the majority of people are trying to just break even and be able to provide something for the community.
Yep. I think this, like, honestly, okay, just think if it was hosted at an airport where everyone would just fly in, do their thing, and get out.
Oh, it'd be so much more convenient. I mean, more people for sure would go. I don't know that that growing is necessarily their goal, though. If I had to guess, I would love, like, we're really trying to get them to come on the podcast, and they want to do it. It's just a matter of time. If I had to guess, their goal is simply to provide the biggest opportunity for U.S. drivers to prove themselves as drivers, regardless of what that is and
on
where
a
that
stage.
is.
Yeah, like,
yes, they're
in
providing
the
a
eyes.
platform that they're basically giving us Monday Night Football. You know what I mean? Like, they're giving us an opportunity to come to a big stage with the lights, with the sponsors, with the stage, everything, the live stream, and they're giving us that opportunity to present ourselves as drivers.
And
because again, they do it. Why are they doing it? Right? Financially, why are they doing it? Because the bigger this hobby is, the more money they make at the end of the day, right? So, like, that's why I have a hard time believing that they're not making decisions in the good faith of the hobby, because it only hurts them if they don't do that.
Well, and I think Super G has the unique, like, I think Joe and Steve really love RC Drift. Like, they operate from a place that they love it. And that, like we talked about earlier, not every shop has that.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we've come from that. We've come from a shop that wasn't a drift shop and wasn't sure what to do with the space that they had, and so they invited drift into that shop. And, you know, maybe you call it whatever they want to call it, but in my opinion, I think it was just the case of them realizing that it wasn't exactly the right fit that they wanted, and they eventually found what they actually wanted to have in that space, and that sucked for us, right? Like, it wasn't fun. We had a sick track and it was gone, and then one of us had to, go through all the trouble of opening a track, and then we all put in a bunch of work, and right. So to have,
Would you say you're better for it now?
absolutely 100%. And I was the biggest.
Would you say
proponent
they're
of
better
it.
for it?
Yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, they have a space that they're using that is now used by like-minded people, racers, which I could never hang out with racers. They're the worst. But no, they have a space now that is being utilized at least by like-minded people. We have a space now where, I mean, if I was Judd, I can't say I would feel the same way, but he's got a lot riding on Drift PDX as a shop, and it's a lot of work for him. He spends entirely too much time at the track. He's made a huge sacrifice, but it's still, like, for me as a driver, it's way better.
Yeah.
To have an owner that cares about RC drifting, that is knowledgeable, and that allows us to turn the place into the place that we want it to be, right?
But even still, like, well, okay, so going to Ben's comment here, our old shop owners didn't love RC Drift either, unfortunately. So we saw that at Hobbytown, that happened at Hobbytown.
Yep.
That technically, well, Northwest was basically just shut down for other reasons, but like at the same time, like, big race culture over there. It took a team of other people to step in and make the community, just like what you're doing, Aaron. And it's like, without that community, it fails. Without the support of the hobby shop owner, it super fails. So
absolutely,
there's all sorts of breaking that can happen, and it's so fragile. Like, we might not have a place to drift. Like,
yeah, I mean, Drift PDX is doing fine right now. It's the winter; everybody's coming out to drive. But in the summer, it gets rough.
Yeah,
no, there's no lie. So, like, and it's not, like I said, it's definitely not in a situation where Judd can quit his union sheet metal job and come and freaking run the track the whole time. That's what he wants to do, but it's not anywhere near that. So yeah, I mean, it's just, it's a blessing and a curse. But my point is that I'm on the side of anyone that is aligned with growing the hobby, because that's what we all need.
Yeah.
Anyone that's out there, I always talk about the Georgia guys, the Atlanta guys. They're right now, they're fortunate. They've been through the ringer. They're, talk about testing you have a track, and every 5 months it closes, right? And then you have to wait another 8 months or whatever it is to have a track again. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, support your local shops,
and give them grace too.
Give them grace.
Give them some grace, because it's stressful, and you never know when that sales tax is due, and I mean, it just, there's always a million things
that applies to Super G as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always, I mean, in my opinion, you're always going to get further with people when you treat them with respect. I understand getting frustrated, and there's times where you have to, get a little indignant with people. Sometimes you're not getting things moving the way they need to, but, there's still a level of human respect and understanding that, like, odds that someone is going out of their way to, like, intentionally fuck your day up, or they just wanted to ruin your order, the odds are very low. We're all working with the circumstances that we're presented.
That's my biggest, the thing that has disappointed me the most about this whole 3D printing stuff is just that if all of these people were just in the same room, it would not be coming off the way that it is at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, everyone, when we're all together, we can just talk things out. But when it's all happening through Facebook and Discord, it's just like, it just is so toxic. It's so frustrating to know that, like, if you sat all these people in the same room with Steve and Joey and they actually hashed it out, there would be no issues.
I have to remind myself all the time to just to not let myself, because I think that we project some of that too, like text is just that. There's no tone, there's no voice. Like, so we're putting the perception there when we see someone say that's ridiculous. Like someone could be saying that's ridiculous, or they could say that's ridiculous. So we kind of put the emphasis on it and let it grow into this thing.
There's a really great Key and Peele sketch about that. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's just two guys. Like one is like nonchalant, just replying to his homie, and the other guy's taking it the way wrong,
freaking out,
ready to fight, right? Like that's 100% how it works on Facebook. We all need to be a little bit more conscious of that, I think.
Definitely.
Sorry, I saw Shibata aluminum spur gear covers, supposedly. Okay. I think I'm done trying to be serious. Yeah.
Get some rig roasting.
9:15. I told you guys we weren't doing no roast my rig tonight.
Yeah, I need to go to bed too. So thanks for staying. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Next week, we got the other side coming in. We got Alex Jordan.
That would be a good one.
East Coast,
Adam, thanks for tuning in, Adam. Please go watch the episode. It's a good episode. I think everybody should watch this episode.
Maybe.
Someone dropped a comment that said, unless you're collecting a paycheck from the RC cars you drive, their toy car. I just wanted to use that as my my in to talk about the RCD and reward contingency program here real quick.
Let's do it.
If you'd like to make some money off of your RC drift car and not call it a toy anymore, I'd like to pay you for that. Representing the RC Drift Network brand. It is a contingency program, bonus program. So basically what that means is you buy your way into the program and then rewards are paid out of the pool. So for drivers who are repping a RCDN sticker on their car, there are a couple of requirements for the program altogether. Main things are you're going to have to tag me. You're going to have to post a picture of your podium and tag RC Drift Network. But if you podium with a RC Drift Network sticker on your car, if you win with the sticker on your car, I'm going to pay you $20. If you have a sticker and apparel on, a win will be $25. A podium will be $15. And if you're rocking a full RC Drift Network livery on your car, a win will be worth $40 and a podium will be worth $25. So there's some opportunities to make some cash. I don't think anybody else out there is really publicly offering to pay drivers to rep the brand. So
sick.
This is your opportunity. I want to see RC Drift Network. I've been watching it grow all over the world, all over the country. People constantly asking me, how do they get involved? How can they, be a part of it or rep the brand? And I've kind of thrown ideas around and tried to figure things out, but I'm going to try it this year. So if you're competing in SDC, that's going to be open to those guys. I put the application out there the other day, so it's on the RC Drift Network Facebook page. And I'll be reaching out to those guys. I think we've got about 15 people that have put their application in so far. And we'll be getting that rolling. I think February is when the first comp starts. So I'm trying to have all that merch and everything ready for everybody.
Right on. That sounds awesome. Retention program. RCD and retention program.
Yeah, contingency. Pretty common. Pretty sick. I like it. And
so if anybody has questions, they can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. I'll answer those questions. But
Josh is asking if it counts for international comps.
Not yet. But RC Drift IO is working on he's working on something similar, and we're hoping that he's going to kind of start his in the UK, and I'm going to do SDC here, and then hopefully next year we'll partner up and kind of make it like an international partnership that we do together.
That's cool.
And Genki hit us with the quote winning is winning intra mile.
Sorry.
Actually, Jake and I have a unique perspective on that, and the way we do this is actually if I hit the wall in my lead, you didn't actually beat me. You won the battle, but you didn't actually beat me. So take that for what it is. You can say that you won, but really I beat myself. Okay. So, and if you look at the replays, you would see at one point during practice, I did a 100-point qualifying run. So actually, I also outqualified you.
Infinite time for qualification. You just have to get that one lap.
That's how me and Jake roll, dude.
Won the battle, not the war. Because family. How many Fast and Furious quotes are we gonna pull? Oh my gosh. DJ, can we fill it out with a kickflip?
Closing kickflip, please.
Closing kickflip. Alrighty. Hey, get her going.
Make it a double.
Double. Oh God.
Late flip. We just need to get a camera for you, DJ, that points down.
I just need to go buy one. There's a lot of things I need to go buy for my PC.
Out of frame.
Good
It's out of
one.
frame.
Oh, out of frame. Oh
Get
no.
in there, dude. What are you doing?
I can't see exactly where I'm at.
Do it over the AccuVance logo. Hashtag AccuVance.
Yeah. we need the
Let me take
DJ
that down real
kickflip
quick.
cam.
Oh yeah, it
He
is over
lost
there.
it. He lost it.
Well, I'm looking where it's at.
All right.
Now
Brother,
I see
have
it.
you ever done a kickflip before?
Not on
Nope.
stream apparently.
Oh, there it was.
It's the extra cushion from the
Shout out
SDC
to-
match.
Yeah,
Shout out
the-
to Creed, the band. Also,
The
shout out to Creed.
trampoline.
Creed for life. Why? I've got
Band ever.
Thank you guys.
There's a-
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on. Again,
course.
it's always great talking with you guys.
I'm really glad because obviously this episode was timed in a way that I'm glad that you were the one that was on this. I appreciated your perspective on all that.
So hang out just for a little bit of after chat.
Yeah, I gotta get some contact info off you.
Stream, thanks. Chat, thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. It's always fun every Thursday.
Thanks, chatters. Especially
Again,
tonight. That was a good one.
We'll be here
you, guys.
with Alex Jordan next week.
Ooh,
From
that's gonna
creative.
be spicy.
That will be another
You
spicy
know that'll
episode.
be spicy.
So we will see you same time next week. Later. And we're at